All right, everyone, welcome. Today's presentation, I'll be talking about the ultimate off-market marketing strategy. This is literally how to flood your phone with motivated off-market seller leads using the QuickTurn marketing strategy. Now, what I want to say about this before I get started is that a lot of people challenge me about off-market deals, especially in the market the way it's been in the past. They'll tell me how they can find great deals all the time through their realtor. And that's fine if you can find them that way. But one thing you usually can't get with that realtor is consistent deals. And I'm going to show you how to get consistent deals, which I like to say it this way: consistent deals pay the bills. Because if you can get consistent deals, you will always have money to take care of whatever you need to. The deals are where the money's at. So let's go ahead and get into this. I hope everybody can see everything. So what is the number one challenge to real estate investors? What is the number one challenge that investors face? I don't care what strategy you're doing, whether you're buy and hold, fix and flip, you're quick turning. What's the number one challenge? Is it finding sellers? Is that the biggest challenge you face? Is it finding motivated sellers? Is that something that you struggle with? Because it's one thing to find sellers, it's another thing to find motivated sellers. What about, is it figuring out what to offer sellers? You know, you're not sure what to offer them when you do talk to them? Or is it finding enough motivated seller deals? What's the biggest challenge to real estate investors? Let me know what your biggest challenge is in the comments right there. Let me know what your thoughts are. This is the holy grail of a real estate business. If you do nothing, if I could teach you nothing else about real estate and just teach you this one thing will almost guarantee that you make money. Now, the other stuff that I teach you will guarantee that you make a lot more money, but this will guarantee that you make money. And that is finding consistent, meaning you can constantly always find them, profitable, motivated sellers that want to do deals. If you can find that, consistent, profitable, motivated sellers wanting to do deals, everything else becomes secondary. It doesn't matter if you can finance them or not. It doesn't matter if you can sell them quickly or not. If you can find consistent, profitable, motivated sellers, you are 80% of the way there. So that's one thing to look at. So how much could you make? I want you to think about this. How much could you make if you could get 3 sellers calling you each month? 3 people that had property that had great equity in it, and they call you, 3 different people, and they're all calling you once a month. How many deals could you make out of that? 2, maybe 3 deals, maybe 1 deal at least. What about if you got 3 sellers calling you each week? 3 sellers each week. That's what? 3, 6, 9, 12. That's 12 sellers calling you, motivated sellers each month. What about 3 sellers each day calling you? How many deals could you do if you did that? You'd be at like 90 sellers calling you in a month. Now you're probably thinking, I don't know what the heck I would do with 90 sellers, but I'll tell you what you would do. You would get it together quickly. Everything else would fall into place and you would get it together. So I want to talk about really quickly, what does successful marketing look like? Because a lot of people are on a different kind of timeline of what they feel successful marketing looks like. Successful marketing has more sellers calling you than you want. So you don't want to have it where I want to buy 2 houses and I've got 2 sellers calling me. That is not successful marketing. You want more sellers than you can handle. That is literally one of the ways to get past this. And I'm going to explain why. Because what happens when you have more sellers than you need, you're going to cherry pick the best deals. Does that make sense? You're going to pick the best deals. One of the biggest problems I see with newer investors or people that aren't used to marketing is they call me or they talk to me and they say, Art, I've got this deal, and the deal is absolutely horrible when they're talking to me. It's like, this lady owns the house, but she's in foreclosure, and then her brother owns part of it, and they're going to sell it to me, but the brother wants $50,000 and she wants $50,000 for her, and they got all these problems. The reason they're dealing with that deal is because they don't have enough deals to look at. Because if they had enough deals, they would pass on the crappy deals or the deals that are too hard to figure out to make money, and they will focus on the deals that are easy, knock it out, and just make some cash, if that makes sense. So you have to have more deals than you want or than you need coming in so that you can pick the best deals. That's the only way to get great profit. You would pass, because what you do is you pass on deals that don't make you huge amounts of money. You just pass on them. Not to say that they're not going to become a deal later, but for now, you would pass on those deals. Now, it also helps you with your negotiation. If you've ever had to negotiate with the seller, have you ever felt kind of like, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do, I'm scared that they're going to not take my deal. If you have more deals than you can handle, that's not going to be a problem, because you're going to be confident, because I don't want to say you don't care, but really you don't care if you don't get this deal, because you've got other deals waiting for you, and you just have to find the right deals for you. And then you'll pick up several deals a month. You have to get out of that mindset of, I'm going to buy a house, purchase that house, fix it up, do all the stuff to it, and then sell that house or rent it out. You need to be doing multiple deals a month. Multiple deals a month is the only way you're going to get to a place where you have a lot of cash and you have more money than you need to. If you do one deal a month, deals don't fall in a perfect line. That's why I tell people to do more than one deal a month. If you do 2 or 3 deals in a month, you're probably going to do a deal a month. You're probably going to close and get a check about a deal a month. But if you're only doing one deal a month, meaning you're only buying one property at a time, you might not get another deal for 3 or 4 months. It doesn't give you consistency. And then the last thing is, you want to automate this process so you can live life while deals keep coming and being processed. Nobody wants to do this all day. Nobody wants to be on the phone with sellers all day, talking with people all day, putting out marketing all day. It's not a way to live, and you won't make any money. You'll get burned out before it won't matter how much money you make, you'll get burned out. Why do we want off-market leads? Again, if you just joined, off-market leads are deals that are not listed on the MLS. They're deals that are not listed with a realtor. They're people that are calling because they want to sell their house, but they haven't started the formal process of going through a realtor. Why do we want off-market leads? Off-market leads or people don't have gatekeepers. Realtors and people like that are gatekeepers. They're the type of people that are going to come in. You're going to say, hey, I'll pay you X amount of dollars for the house. And they're going to say, don't take that price. That's too low. You need to get a better price, and go back and forth. They're going to be a second kind of negotiation. And their motivation, that other person's motivation, is to just get the max amount of money. Whether they're a family member, whether they're a realtor, they just want to get the max amount of money, while the person that's calling you or talking to you might want to be motivated just because they're tired of the property. They just want to get out of the property. So that's going to make a huge difference to who you're actually negotiating with. The other reason is off-market deals tend to have more profit. When you deal with realtors, they put all the profit into the seller's hands, and they're going to make it so that you have to do a lot more work to get the profit out of the property compared to an off-market deal. Off-market sellers often know that they are selling for less. Some people that have talked to me in the groups and in the chat, and some of the students have questioned about, are you taking advantage of a seller because you're negotiating with them? And my logic is, no, you're not taking advantage of a seller, because at the end of the day, you cannot buy a property if the seller doesn't agree to the price. That's the first thing. Second thing is, most people understand when they call one of those We Buy Houses, or anybody that's an investor or a business that buys houses, they understand that they're not getting top dollar, because they know that business can't make any money otherwise. So they're okay in most cases with selling for less. You just have to make it convenient for them. Off-market sellers want speed and convenience over max price. They want to get rid of it now. They want to get rid of it easily. They don't want to have a lot of people going through the house and it's sitting on the market for months and months trying to sell. They want convenience and speed over price. So that's what you're giving them. Off-market sellers are easy to find in any market. Now, I know some of you all are in, I guess you would call hyper or heavy markets. So the Floridas, a lot of Texas markets are pretty strong. I'm trying to think of somebody else that's a pretty strong market. Florida and Texas are two that come to mind. If you're in these markets, a lot of people think to themselves, in my market, you can't find motivated sellers. You can't find people that are off market. Everybody goes through realtors. That is a lie. That is something you tell yourself so that you don't put in the effort. I don't know why you tell yourself that, but every single market, I've got students in a lot of markets. I've worked in a lot of different markets. Every single market has these types of deals in it, and they're plentiful. They are plentiful. Now, what are the best ways to contact these leads? What are the best ways to reach out to people that are motivated? So let's talk about it. Is it online ads? Maybe you've seen some training and they talked about doing online ads and you thought about doing that. Is it text message? Reaching out to them and sending out 10,000 text messages, and maybe text messages are a cheaper way for you, and you think, well, that might be a good way. Is it voicemail blast? Voicemail blast are when the call goes straight to voicemail and it leaves a message. It doesn't even ring the phone, and it leaves a message to that person saying, hey, this is so-and-so, do you want to sell your house? And it leaves a message. Here are the 3 best ways to contact off-market leads. And because I don't want you to think I'm just coming up with this off the top of my head, this is statistically proven that this is the best way to get a response from a homeowner to tell them for you to buy their property. This is mathematically proven, and I'm going to go into that in a second. The number 3 way is direct mail. That's the number 3 way out of the top 3 ways to find properties. Number 3 is direct mail. That beats online ads, it beats text message, it beats voicemail blast. Number 2, direct mail. Number 1, direct mail. The direct mail by far beats every other way of marketing. Now, I know what you're thinking. You've seen some people that say we put out a Google ad and we run online ads or Facebook ads. Direct mail is the best way. I'm going to touch on why it's the best way and what you are actually trying to accomplish. So let's get into that. Why should you use direct mail? Number 1, and this is very important. I know you all are online. Everybody that's on this call with me right now is tech savvy to some degree. You're on Zoom. My mother is, and God bless her, she does not like using the computer for anything. She will use it if she absolutely has to, but she does not like using it. So there's a certain percentage of Americans that don't want to use computers. They're not going to see your ad because they're not on Facebook. They're not on social media. They will not see your ad. Number 2, everyone does not trust online stuff. My mom does not use Cash App. She doesn't use Zelle. She doesn't trust anything asking for any of her personal information online. So she doesn't trust anything she sees online. She is convinced everything online is a scam and she does not want to deal with it. Number 3, everyone does not listen to voicemail. People do not always listen to voicemail. How many times have you checked your voicemail? My phone right now has about 50 or 60 voicemail messages because my logic is just text me. Don't call me, just text me and we can talk from there. If I want to talk to you, I'll call you or something like that. Most people do not check their voicemails. So those ringless voicemails, they're going straight into a grave because nobody checks it. Number 4, everyone does not use text message or respond. Do you think about you for a second? How awkward is it? You're sitting at home or you're going to a movie and you get a text message and you pull your phone out and it's somebody you've never heard of saying, hey, I know you own the house at 123 Main Street. Do you want to sell it? I know me, I'm looking at it like, who the hell, that would get my number. I'm not thinking, oh yeah, this must be a great deal. Let me sell them my house. It's just not happening. This is not happening. So everybody doesn't use these methods, even though they're easier. The reason people like this is because they want something easy for them. That's what investors want. They like these other strategies because it's easy for them. They figure that they can do text messages and it doesn't cost them that much. That's right, Evelyn. That's true. People don't like that stuff. They figure they can do voiceless ring mail because it doesn't cost that much. They figure they can do, what's the other one? Just all the online ads because it's easy and they can reach a lot of people. You shouldn't be buying property that's 3,000 miles away from you or 180 miles away from you. You don't need to. You can, but you do not need to do that. And you can still be successful with this. All of that is not the problem. The number 1 problem with marketing is getting someone to read your message. That's it. Just to read your message is the number 1 issue. Everyone gets mail. Everybody on this call, I dare somebody to text in the chat and say, I don't get mail. Wherever you live, whether it's an apartment or house, you get mail. Everyone looks at their mail. You may not want to look at it. It's a bill. It's something you don't want to look at. But I guarantee you cannot stop if just for a second to look at that mail to see what it is, even if it's something that you don't want. That's right, Evan. Yep, because it's everybody looks at it. Direct mail can be personalized. Not only can I send you direct mail, I can also send you something that has your name on it. So now if I send you an envelope with your name on it, your address, and a response address, you got to open it. Why do you have to open it? Because it doesn't say I want to buy your house. It just says a letter with your name on it. You got to open it. It could be your aunt. It could be your cousin. It could be anybody and everybody. You have got to open it. Just that alone is worth what it is. Marketing's job is to get someone's attention. Think about online social media. The goal of social media is to get someone's attention. Mail does that very well. It gets people's attention. Now, the reason people don't like it is because it costs a little bit more. But look at how much you're going to make if you put the right strategy together and you spend the money on marketing. The money you spend on marketing, you are going to get back tenfold easily. It does not take that much. So it's like, it's the cost of doing business. The marketing costs what it costs, and it's the cost of doing business. I see somebody right now and they're opening up a letter and reading it on this thing. And it's because for that 20 seconds got your attention, and that's what we want. We want your attention. So what should we say when we're contacting a lead? Let's get into that. Let's talk about what we should say when we reach out to somebody. What does our marketing need to say? We don't want to waste anything. We don't want to waste time. We don't want to waste ink. We don't want to waste money. We don't want to waste anything. We want our marketing to say very specific things. Number one is our intention. What is our reason for contacting them? The simplest way is, we buy houses, or we're looking to buy your house, or hey, Joe Smith, or whatever the person's name is. I know you own the house, or do you own the house at 123 Main Street? We are interested in buying that house. And you want that to be the first thing they see, because it's going to grab their attention. If Joe Smith is remotely interested in selling his house, he's going to read on. If he's not interested at all, he's going to throw it away. And that's fine. Not everybody is our customer. Number two, we want to establish who we are to them. Are we the IRS? Are we somebody that's a bill collector coming after the property? We want to establish who we are. So just a simple line of something like, hey, I'm an investor, or my company buys houses in your area, or something along those lines. We use a very specific line. We use something along the lines that say, hey, Joe Smith, I know, do you own the house at 123 Main Street? We're interested in buying it. We buy X amount of properties every month, and we're buying 2 to 3 more properties in your area in the next 30 to 60 days. We'd like to talk to you about selling. That does a couple of things. It creates urgency. It tells them what we're doing, what our intention is, and what's in it for them. They can get rid of that house quickly. They want to get rid of it soon. They can get rid of it quickly with us. Next, we tell them what to do next. Now, that might sound funny. Why do you need to tell them what to do? I say it like this, and I mean it in the most respectful way. People read stuff differently. There are so many people on this call right now. You ever played that game when you sit in a circle? It's something you played as a kid. You sit in a circle and one person whispers something to the other person's ear, and by the time it gets around the room, it's a whole different thing. They said something completely different. That's the same way marketing works. You could read this marketing and say, oh, well, clearly Art and his team want to buy my house, and they want to pay me top dollar or whatever they're going to pay me for the house. That's what I want to do. Somebody else is going to read that and get a completely different thing in their head. They're not going to know what to do. Well, what do I do? Do I get online? Do I call them? Do I text them? What are they coming to my house? You have to tell them what to do. Please call me at X, or please text me, or whatever you want to say, but tell them what to do, because I guarantee you there are going to be people that do not realize what you want them to do, and they're not going to do it. People will respond to this marketing for only 2 reasons. In my experience, there's only 2 reasons why they respond to this marketing. Number one is curiosity. They will call and say, well, how much is my house worth? They don't know if they want to sell or not, but they want to hear about what their house is worth. I love those people, because they clearly got a little bit of an interest, and they're so far away from my competition because they didn't commit to selling their house. They're just interested in hearing what you're offering for the house. So that's the first one. And you can convert those to sales all the time. Number 2 is people that actually have a problem. People that are actually like, hey, I need to get rid of this house. This house is a pain in the butt. I'm tired of paying the taxes on it. My mother lived here and I'm just ready to get rid of it, whatever. And they have a problem. Those people are easy pickings, but you just have to talk to them the same way. These are going to be the 2 main groups that you buy from: curiosity people and problem people. Now, I want to talk about why all leads are not created equal, because there's all kinds of stuff online. If you all have clicked on an ad, there'll be somebody that runs an ad that says something like, I can bring you 60 leads in the next 2 hours if you pay me X amount of dollars. And they promise you the world with leads. And that's one of the things that people do all the time. And they think to themselves, ooh, what can I do with those leads? All leads are not created equal. And what I mean by that, the goal is not to get someone to call you. That's actually not the goal. Did you know in our business, the first step in negotiation is actually the marketing. Our marketing serves 2 purposes. We want the seller to call. We want sellers with equity in their house to call. And we want sellers with equity that have an interest in selling to call us. We want specific people. Everybody else we want to discourage them from calling us. And I mean that in the most sincere way, because what's the point of getting 100 calls if only 3 of those calls are people that actually have a house they want to sell, or only 3 of those people have equity in their house, or only 3 of those people even remotely have an interest in selling? They were calling you because they thought you were offering to do something else to their house. The quality of the lead matters. It does not benefit us to just get people calling. And that's what a lot of people offer when they offer to find you leads. Marketing does half of your job. Marketing finds equity. Marketing finds sellers that likely want to sell. So they're going to find people, they don't find motivation, but they're going to find people that are kind of interested in selling. How do you know they're kind of interested in selling? Because they called you. If they weren't interested in selling in the least bit, they would have ignored you. They wouldn't have gone through. Marketing gets sellers remotely interested in selling. That's what we want. Marketing gets you houses in desirable areas. I hear all these investors that call and get on the calls with me, and they say, I'm buying distressed property, or what do you do? Buy distressed property? Distressed property is one way of doing business. I personally don't like it. Have you ever gone into distressed property? It's not something you want to deal with. A lot of times it's dilapidated, it's safety issues. I bought properties before when I used to buy dilapidated properties, and there was literally a 2 foot by 2 foot hole in the kitchen floor. You could literally see through to the basement. And the lady thought that the house was in pretty good shape. I don't want to deal with that. Most of the properties that we buy, the way we market and how we use negotiation on marketing, the properties are in great shape. They've got tenants in them. They're clean. They're comfortable. They're everything you want. Marketing gets you those houses. And a lot of times you can find those houses below market value with marketing. So not all leads are created equal. Now, the last thing I want to touch on is why pay for marketing? Because people always say, I don't want to pay for marketing. I feel it's a money grab. And in this world, let's just be 100. There are a ton of money grabs. There's a ton of things trying to convince you to give you your money so that they can promise you the world and then don't deliver. Why should we pay for marketing? Number one is paid marketing. You can control how much you make. By paying for marketing, you can literally control how many people call you, how many people you can probably do a deal with, and how much money you want to make. So that's one of the things. If you do free marketing, you don't know when you're going to get a deal. That's the trade-off between free marketing or look very cheap marketing and full marketing. That's the trade-off. You don't know how much you're going to make. With paid marketing, you don't have to work so hard. You have to, in business, you have to give one of 2 things. You either have to give your money or your time. Which one is more valuable to you? Maybe in the beginning, your time is not as valuable. You've got plenty of free time and you can spend your time. But as you grow and as you scale and as you make some money, your money will become much easier for you than time, because time, you're going to want to go spend money. You're going to want to go enjoy life. You're going to want to go do other things. And so marketing it's like another employee. It allows you to not have to work so hard. If you've ever had to do cold calling, then you know what I'm talking about. Paid marketing allows you to be in control with sellers. They call you. Now, if you've ever done cold calling and had to call people to see if they're interested in selling their house, it can be very frustrating. People are hanging up on you. People are cursing you out, all kinds of stuff. That does not happen with marketing because they are calling you. How are you going to call me and curse me out? Hello, this is buyer number 1. Buyer number 1, I hate you. Stop calling me. You called me. It doesn't happen. They're not going to be upset with you. They're going to talk with you. So it gives you control. You don't have to be on the defensive when they call because they called you. And that's very important. Another thing, paid marketing lowers your cost to buy. And I know what you're thinking. How is it lowering my cost? Have you ever, I'm going to tell you exactly how to describe this so you understand. Have you ever bought something and they say, it costs this much, it costs, $100. But if you prepay and pay for it before you get the service, we'll give you a discount and it's only $80 or $75. That's the same way marketing works. You're going to pay for a property no matter what, whether it's paying a realtor a commission, whether it's paying a higher price because the person, found the person and they just want a high price. Marketing is going to allow you, it's the cheapest way to find property. It may not seem like it, but buy a $150,000 house with a 6% commission or 5% commission. That money isn't going to you being the buyer. It's not going to the seller. that's money that the seller and you are paying. And you can say, well, I'm not paying it, the seller's paying it. But you are paying it, because let's say that money, if you could keep it in the seller's hands, that might be just enough to push them to let you buy the house. That month, if you don't put it in the seller's hands, they might say, no, I'm not going to sell it for less than this because I got to pay this realtor commission. And so that's money that they're not getting. So they push the price higher, which converts into you paying the higher price for that property. Does that make sense to everybody? You're paying for these properties either way, whether you market, whether you look for it on MLS, whether you cold call, you're paying with your time. Either way, no matter what you do, you're going to pay. This is the cheapest thing you can do. This is the cheapest way you can make money buying houses consistently. Paid marketing lets you use competition to help you find more deals. So let me explain what that means. Your competition is out there marketing as well. They're just not going to be as consistent as you. They're not going to be as reliable as you, but they're going to be out there. But here's the thing. When you market in certain areas, your competition will also market in that area. And there are going to be a lot of times when you put out a piece of marketing and someone will call. I've had people call me, we put out a marketing piece this month, and then someone will call and say, hey, I got your piece from 2 months ago, and I'm finally giving you a call. What do you want to do? They have primed. What's happened is that competition has primed that seller to talk to you. They kept getting letters or whatever from the person before you, and then they finally decide to call, and your letter arrives. So they say, you must be the same guy or the same woman. They call you. Your competition is going to soften up your sellers and get you more deals. You can't do that with anything else. And the last thing is, paid marketing is a 24/7 worker that only wants to make you money. It has no other goal. It's not going to argue with you. It just wants to make you money. So that is how this whole thing works. You pay for marketing, you spend a little money, you'll get a lot of money back. It's like if I tell you, give me $10, but you'll get $1,000 for every $10 you give me. How many times are you going to give me $10? It should be as many times as you possibly can. So that's how this marketing works. If you want help building this kind of setup and how we have it set up, where we have a consistent process and we use our marketing for our negotiation to build a real estate business, then DM me. I'll put my messenger so you can connect with me on Messenger. We can have a one-on-one conversation about where you are and what this looks like for you to build this type of business. We can also talk about a financing audit if you're concerned about if you can qualify for financing. We'll talk about what kind of things you need to be in position to get financing. We have financing sources that can help you with that if you need help. And even if we can't directly help you, let's say you're not ready for this, you're not at this point yet, we have a lot of resources that we can share with you that can help you get into position so that you can eventually get to this point. But I can tell you that if you are living paycheck to paycheck, if you are living and not having the freedom that you want, if you are living in a way that you're not satisfied with financially, this is a way you can get there. These are the steps. I give people very specific layouts, and when working with us, of how they can get to where they want to be by following this process. It's not one of these, do this and do that, and you can kind of figure this out, you can kind of figure that out. It is a do this step, then this step, then this step, and it will lead you to where you want to be, which hopefully is to get to the check, because that should be everyone's goal here, is to get to the check. So I hope this has been helpful for you. I hope this is something you've enjoyed. If you have any questions, or let me know in the chat what you thought of this, if this was something that was beneficial to you, if it was useful, let me know. I appreciate your time. I thank you all for coming on here and jumping on this call with me. I will be posting the replay tomorrow. Evelyn, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you. Yolanda, thank you. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you'll look at the replay. And if you want to talk with me about how we can help you do this, then please reach out. I wish you the best. And as always, happy hunting. Talk to you guys later.